So Bob Iger is hopping on the damage control train yet again and doubling down on his agenda, his ideology, and getting very defensive. Now, there is no doubt about it that Snow White 2025 is considered by far one of the worst box office failures, not just with Disney, but also in the entire film history when it comes down to live-action remakes. We already know that it's right up there with, of course, Dragon Ball Evolution on the IMDb rating score.
There's a level of expectation that they have that is just not realistic.
A single misstep can change the entire course of a Hollywood blockbuster. In Disney's latest live-action experiment, an ambitious reimagining of Snow White, that misstep spiraled into an industry-wide fiasco. Whispers of ballooning budgets, rumored lawsuits, on-set power struggles, and ideological differences all converged in one staggering outcome.
We are. Look, I don't really like the term woke because I think it's an umbrella term that I'm not 100% sure I even know what it means, and one could argue that sometimes it's used too liberally.
A box office opening that reached only $72 million, leaving execs reeling and the public stunned. Yet as dramatic as those numbers seem, they only hint at the deeper story, a tale of ambition, egos, and a modern fairy tale vision gone astray. Long before this project hit theaters, insiders were already murmuring about trouble brewing. Disney, known for its glittering track record of animated hits, decided to give Snow White a facelift for 2025. At first glance, it looked like a surefire bet. The studio would dust off the beloved 1937 classic and drench it in contemporary themes, hoping to attract both nostalgic fans and a new generation eager for modern messaging. But almost immediately, die-hard Disney loyalists grew wary. They recalled how some of the studio's recent live-action adaptations struggled to captivate audiences when they strayed too far from the original magic.
She's now bragging about the success of Snow White, which is a movie that's going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars, and mainly because of her, and because nobody wanted to support her.
Even more concerning were the early rumors that multiple rewrites were in the works, some allegedly designed to intensify social and political undertones. By the time Bob Iger reportedly stepped in to steer the project, the conversation was already tinged with controversy.
Yeah, we had more dwarfs than we did viewers in most of these theaters. And as you know, there were no dwarfs other than some CGI weird generated version of them.
People sensed that this was no ordinary remake. It was a high-stakes gamble that could reshape the Disney brand. Center stage in this unfolding drama was Rachel Zegler, a young actress who had recently dazzled Hollywood in her breakout role. Talented, passionate, and outspoken, Rachel seemed tailor-made for a modern fairy tale. Many fans applauded Disney's bold choice, hoping that her fresh perspective would invigorate Snow White's centuries-old tale. However, the moment her casting became public, chatter on social media took on a sharper edge. While supporters believed that Rachel's presence promised a groundbreaking reinterpretation, skeptics questioned whether she could carry the weight of such an iconic character. After all, Snow White set the gold standard for Disney princesses and remained sacred to many. And as more updates trickled in, rumors of fixing outdated elements, leaning into hot-button topics, and revamping the storyline, some loyalists bristled. It didn't help that Rachel, known for her candid opinions, occasionally made bold statements about the old Snow White being antiquated and needing serious upgrades. Initially, these remarks generated buzz in the entertainment press, but they also caused rifts. People wondered, could modern ideals mesh seamlessly with a cherished piece of Disney lore? As cameras started rolling, tensions simmering beneath the surface became more obvious. Multiple sources hinted at behind-the-scenes arguments about everything from the film's overall tone to the authenticity of costume designs. Some staff members welcomed the new direction, a story that portrayed Snow White not merely as a naive princess but as a capable leader grappling with real-world problems. Others felt the production risked alienating fans who wanted the cherished innocence of the original. Meanwhile, costs climbed at an alarming rate. Studio heads had approved a lavish budget, convinced this would be the next big Disney phenomenon. Reshoots piled up, each one signaling disagreements that couldn't be smoothed over with a quick conversation.
Don't alienate half of the country when you're putting out a product meant to appeal to all. It's the Michael Jordan Republicans buy sneakers too.
The team kept filming extended scenes they'd already wrapped, hoping to fix a narrative that felt disjointed. For Rachel, the stakes couldn't be higher. Despite the friction on set, she insisted publicly that she aimed to respect Disney's legacy while pushing the envelope. But every interview she gave fueled a new round of speculation. Was she trying to update a fairy tale? Or was she outright discarding the magic that made Snow White iconic? If Rachel's presence generated curiosity, Gal Gadot's role as the formidable evil queen lit the spark that set everything ablaze. Gal, known globally for her portrayal of another pop culture icon, brought undeniable star power to the project. From the outset, it seemed like a match made in marketing heaven, a fresh face versus an established superstar, both commanding massive audiences. But as production wore on, rumors suggested the dynamic between Gal and Rachel wasn't exactly harmonious. Supposedly, their ideological perspectives clashed, with Rachel emphasizing progressive messages and Gal urging caution against straying too far from the classic's essential charm. On top of that, each had a distinct approach to their craft. Insiders say that what began as polite disagreement snowballed into thinly veiled animosity. While fan theories online painted one as the hero and the other as the villain, reality was more nuanced. Both women were juggling a heavy production schedule, enormous expectations, and a swirling rumor mill. Some days they appeared cordial. Other days, mere tension in their body language sparked more talk that the film was buckling under the weight of two colliding visions. Soon, the day arrived that everyone expected to be a triumph. Disney's marketing machine rolled out a final wave of trailers and promotions designed to entice families and longtime fans alike. From the outside, you'd never guess how fraught everything was behind the curtain. Nobody anticipated the meltdown to come. Early Friday reports hinted that audiences were hesitant. Moviegoers posted lukewarm reviews on social media, criticizing the film's forced political undertones or lack of true enchantment. By Sunday evening, the numbers spoke for themselves. A paltry $72 million in domestic earnings, a figure that might sound high by some standards but fell drastically short for a film rumored to cost far more. Industry analysts, once brimming with optimism, scrambled to explain the massive shortfall. Some pointed fingers at the movie's confused identity. Did it want to be a nostalgia-driven spectacle or a boundary-pushing commentary on modern society? Others suspected that weeks of negative chatter online had driven away families. Then, there was the theory that Gal and Rachel's rumored clashes overshadowed the film itself. Whatever the cause, the once glittering project was now a cautionary tale in real time. On social media and entertainment news outlets, one name dominated. The discussion, Rachel Zegler. Insiders described a heartbreaking scene behind closed doors, an overwhelmed actress devastated to see her high-profile role shredded by critics and overshadowed by controversies. Supposedly, Rachel was in tears, struggling to understand how her passion project had become Hollywood's latest punching bag, but her emotional upheaval was only part of the story. New whispers suggested she was contemplating a defamation lawsuit against Gal for remarks allegedly made about Rachel's conduct on set. While no official documents surfaced, the possibility alone sparked a media frenzy. Commentators speculated that if Rachel felt Gal had tarnished her image, she might see legal action as a path to reclaim her narrative. Meanwhile, online audiences picked sides. Some empathized with Rachel's meltdown, convinced she'd been caught in a web of unrealistic expectations. Others argued that her outspoken interviews and criticisms of the classic story had alienated the very fans needed to make the movie a success. Heated debates raged on forums, with fans dissecting every snippet of behind-the-scenes gossip to confirm or reject their biases. With the movie tanking at the box office, Disney scrambled for solutions. Should they scale back the theatrical run and push the film to streaming platforms? Could rebranding salvage a flick already battered by negative press? Or was it time to cut their losses and move on? At the executive level, Bob Iger's decision-making became a focal point. He'd championed a forward-thinking approach to remakes, yet critics now claimed he'd allowed ideology to trump common sense. In response, Iger doubled down, defending the creative choices and insisting that progress sometimes comes with backlash. Internally, some staffers felt that the higher-ups had ignored glaring red flags, like the chaotic on-set environment and the mismatch between modern commentary and a timeless fairy tale. Crew members who poured heart and soul into the production voiced mixed feelings. Yes, they'd created stunning costumes and mesmerizing set pieces, but their work got buried under gossip about star feuds and a misguided update. Many felt overshadowed, their craft overshadowed by the meltdown narrative swirling around the film. They wanted recognition for the artistry they brought to this reimagining, but the blame game overshadowed everything else. In the end, Snow White 2025 wasn't just a movie, it became a living lesson in how even the mightiest studio can stumble when core decisions go awry. A beloved fairy tale meant to dazzle new audiences became instead a magnet for controversy, overshadowed by ideological rifts, rumored lawsuits, and a tearful breakdown that left the star's future uncertain. Rachel Zegler, once seen as the bright new talent destined for Disney legend, now stands at a crossroads. Will she rise from these ashes, learn from the high-stakes drama, and refine her public image for a second shot at stardom? Or will this meltdown follow her from audition to audition, haunting every conversation about her next project? As for Gal Gadot, the negative buzz may be easier to shrug off thanks to her established fan base, but every rumor about behind-the-scenes friction casts a small shadow on her otherwise glittering resume. Disney itself, the entertainment titan, faces a critical moment of introspection. How does it balance modernization with reverence for the classics that built its empire? Does it lean all in on progressive remakes or recalibrate to preserve the delicate charm that made the brand a global powerhouse in the first place? For many viewers, this fiasco exposed a new reality. No amount of brand loyalty is guaranteed when a beloved story undergoes radical changes that undercut its timeless magic. Yet every meltdown offers lessons. Perhaps future productions will achieve that sweet spot, innovating without alienating. Maybe the industry will realize that controversy can spark curiosity, but it can also fracture a film's core audience. Above all, this unfolding drama underlines the reality that Hollywood success depends on a complex balance of star synergy, fan goodwill, and careful storytelling. If there's a silver lining, it's that fairy tales have a funny way of reinventing themselves across generations, but only when handled with a deft touch. The meltdown we witnessed is a vivid reminder that not even Disney is invincible. It must adapt wisely, trust the source material's strengths, and keep ego and hype in check. The story of Snow White 2025 might serve as a wake-up call, prompting the industry to proceed with more caution and creativity. As viewers, we can only watch and wonder, will Rachel Zegler step away from the spotlight to regroup or fight tooth and nail to reclaim her image? Will Gal Gadot manage to distance herself from the fiasco? Will Bob Iger and Disney learn that bigger budgets and bigger names don't always guarantee success when the heart of the story is lost? In the aftermath, a single question lingers. Was this meltdown unavoidable? Or did the drive to modernize a cherished fairy tale unwittingly set the stage for one of Hollywood's most talked about disappointments? Only time will tell if these lessons resonate enough to shape a new era of remakes, or if we're destined to repeat the cycle of hype, backlash, and regret. For now, the saga of this ill-fated Snow White stands as a potent example of how quickly dreams can unravel under the glare of the Hollywood spotlight, reminding us all that no matter how beloved a classic is, it can still stumble if it loses sight of what made it a legend in the first place. Thanks for watching. If you've ever wondered how a single production could trigger an industry-wide debate about tradition versus innovation, look no further than this tale. Keep the conversation going. Share your thoughts below on whether modernizing timeless classics is a bold move for fresh audiences, or a misstep that betrays the magic of childhood favorites. Either way, this Snow White saga has proven one thing for sure. No story, however iconic, is immune to controversy when lofty ambitions meet the unforgiving realities of big-budget movie making.